I would like to say that the old classic movies have us moderners beat when it comes to good writing, but sometimes it just isn't so. Sometimes the old and new both get it wrong. Take Creature from the Black Lagoon, 1954, for example. Clearly, this movie was intended to play on people's, instincts in order to keep their attention. The men are half-dressed for most of the film, and no matter what Julia Adams was wearing, you can't help but notice her distinctly conical...
Schwaxeland!
As for the creature, it is obvious his primary motivation is woman. Woman. Are you starting to see the subtle theme here? At the end, the monster gets shot and they let it get away. And there's absolutely no resolution or tying up of loose ends. It's an ending so abrupt, you're left with a feeling of irritation instead of wonder. Now, fast forward to 2025, and we see somebody decided to take another crack at it. Same monster, different title. This story is known as Monster Island. Of course, they updated the creature's appearance a bit, but basically he's the same manfish that he was before. Only this time, he's got
nasty big pointy teeth.
It's World War II. The year is 1944. The Japanese military is transporting POWs back to their homeland to put them to work as slaves. The transport vessels are called hell ships. You learn all of this from the opening explaino titles. That is the most you'll learn about history for the rest of the film. Believe me, Saito is a prisoner because he believes in God, I guess?
お前の信じる神の導きということか。お前は神に見捨てられたのだ。
It's really unclear at the beginning, so we're left to guess that he was punished for practicing Christianity or something. I'm sure there's some historical context for this, but I don't know it, and the movie doesn't tell you either. It is the movie's responsibility to explain something like that to you so that you understand. Writers, you can't assume your audience already knows stuff. At the end, we find out that he was really being punished for killing his commanding officer, but by then, the movie is ending and we don't really care anymore. It definitely felt like something that should have been explained at the beginning, because that reveal at the end lacked any impact, after we've already watched a story full of much crazier stuff. Bronson appears to be just another American captive. Saito and Bronson get chained together because why not? Bronson tried to escape the night before, and they just don't seem to like Saito, so they are both at the top of the naughty list. The boat gets attacked by the Allies and sinks. Saito and Bronson are the only survivors, apparently, and what do you know? They're on an island with a terrifying inhabitant. After senselessly beating each other to within an inch of their lives, the monster takes a quick swipe at Bronson, and now the two men are friends. Then, the men's camp gets discovered by other Japanese soldiers whom we can only assume come from the same ship because they are marching a prisoner along. Only thing is, their uniforms aren't disheveled at all. They're clean and tidy. And they are acting pretty casual for guys who recently had a brush with death. The monster literally tears apart the newcomers, which we totally didn't see coming. And thus begins the real struggle for survival with Saito and Bronson. We find out that this monster had a mate, which was killed by a random allied pilot, whose parachute got stuck in a tree, but who also managed to get off a lucky shot at the creature. We don't know anything about this pilot or why he ended up there. Also, we were never shown any aircraft getting hit by artillery from the ship. It's not a plot hole necessarily, but another disconnect between what we're being shown and what we're being asked to just accept and make assumptions about. Too many assumptions. Sorry for the sidetrack. But in this movie, you can't swing a cat without hitting a flaw of some kind. Just imagine that wall is made out of assumption bricks. Anyway, Saito and Johnson find out that the monster lives in a cave by a small, well, I would say lagoon so that it connects with the original movie, except lagoons are small, shallow bodies of water connected to larger bodies of water with only a small separation between the two. And this big pond is way too far inland. Sorry, film. Close, but no reference. So, they find the cave, find a monster cocoon baby, decide to leave it alive because it would be wrong to kill off an unknown species, and then they go and get a torpedo with the intention to put it in the cave and blow up the monster and its offspring at the same time.
Right.
They fight with the monster, shoot its offspring to distract it from killing Bronson, but Bronson ends up sacrificing himself anyway to give Saito a chance to escape. The creature shows a remarkable resistance to being blowed up, and Saito has a samurai fight with it, where he finally, and fatally, wounds it, or so we believe. Unlike its very mortal and vulnerable mate, this creature seems to have the durability of a Kryptonian superhero, because it quickly disappears into the jungle when Saito's back is turned.
You
Lucky for Saito, he's discovered by an allied Navy vessel and escapes the island. For some reason, despite the creature obviously being a hunter-killer with some nasty sociopathic tendencies, Saito decides to not reveal its existence to the military. The end. Plot holes. If you don't turn on the subtitles, you won't know what the Japanese soldiers and the main protagonist are saying. They did not put English subtitles into the movie itself, which seems like a big
Oopsie!
When I saw the font they used, all I could think was,
Papyrus!
He clicked the drop-down menu and then he just randomly selected papyrus.
totally saw this dead guy twitch when the two protagonists are looking for food among the wreckage on the beach. Saito put the water bottle right up to Bronson's face when they are still working through their initial mistrust? A bit creepy there, Saito. The monster took off a guy's head, made out with it, then chucked it away like their moment together meant nothing to him. Very funny looking gore. Sadly, you'll have to watch the movie yourself to see it, since YouTube is mighty squeamish about that sort of thing, even when it looks really, really fake.
No! Blood!
Bronson landed impossibly well balanced on that tree. Why the flare at this point? It was a cloudless night. All they did was give away their position to the monster during a moment when what they needed was stealth so they could get equipment from the downed plane. When the flare goes out, they turn their backs on the monster, which is the imminent threat for several seconds. Not the brightest crayons in the box.
We're all gonna die.
The baby monster in its cocoon thing was weird for several reasons. One, aren't these monsters more aquatic by nature? Why would the cocoon be out of water in a cave? Two, why is the cocoon suspended in a web? If the monsters made this, from where are these webs coming out?
I never want to think that thought again.
Three, this thing looks like that severely damaged piece of Voldemort's soul.
Ew.
4. It rolled for longer than it should, and made me think of an obscure reference to Kung Pao.
So cute. Bye-bye.
When Bronson whacks the torpedo pin, he remembers something Saito said. 3 problems here. 1. Bronson doesn't understand Japanese. 2. Even if Bronson had understood the language, this flashback was not necessary. Did he really need to remember how the chain required precision aimed to break it to know that if he hit the pin, it would set off the bomb? He was already hitting the pin just fine. What he needed was more force, not more precision. That memory served no logical or emotional purpose and left us all saying,
Okay.
3. Lastly, am I wrong in saying that a torpedo doesn't work off of a timer? We clearly hear an egg timer here after that final hit. I haven't served in the Navy, but I'd assume that any military using a torpedo would design it to hit the target and go off right away, rather than hit the target, wait a few seconds and drift off, then explode.
A wizard is never late.
After that embarrassment of a self-sacrifice scene, the creature was still alive?
This guy's starting to get on my nerves.
You could make the argument that this creature has some sort of natural armor that we just don't know about, which makes it more durable. You could, if we hadn't already seen its mate's dead body earlier, brought down by bullets. If they can be brought down by being shot, how likely is this creature to survive after standing right next to an exploding torpedo in a small, enclosed space? How did Saito cover himself with this much sand? Silly blood spurt after taking a gut wound. Of course, just leave your weapon there, next to the thing that's been trying to kill you.
You're a putz.
Nods of approval. This soldier sounds hilariously and pathetically deranged as he tears off Saito's tags and shouts in an overly high-pitched voice. I only mention it because it's hilariously over the top and made me laugh. Bronson crawls to the bank of the river, only to find himself next to the crocodile. Delightfully tense moment. Lucky for him, it just wasn't interested. Monster getting attacked by a crocodile. Or an alligator? Well, one of those. Plagiarific. Somebody in the writers group was taking a lot of cues from Predator 1987. Stares at guy on the ground. Sounds like Predator when he's stalking. Roars with his arms out to the sides after killing the croc. Some noises he makes also sound like a Nazgul. The creature takes out this guy's heart just like he's about to say, Moral of the story. When a terrifying, murderous monster takes out your new friend and almost eviscerates you, remember to be merciful and spare its life and protect it from others so that it has a chance to keep living undisturbed in its natural habitat. And also, because a better revenge is to let it live a long and lonely life alone on a tiny island now that you've ganked the rest of its family.
Revenge is sweet, sir.
Hey, what do you know? Environmentalism can be fun.